Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here with today's pregame report for Game 4 between the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. The Oilers have made a series of this matchup after winning Game 3 7-4 in what was one of the most outrageous, bonkers, over-the-top, exciting third periods I've ever seen in a playoff game, all capped off by a horrifically bad coach's challenge by Jim Hiller behind the Kings bench. And if you're the Edmonton Oilers, if you want to find a way to get yourself truly back in this series and give yourself a chance to win the whole series, you have to get a win tonight. You have to tie this thing up at 2. You cannot afford to go down 3-1, not to this LA Kings team. This is not the Kings of the past. This is a much, much different LA Kings team. They are never out of games, even when, we have a Mochi coming to say hi. Hi, Mochi. Even when it looks like they are out of a game, they find a way to always be right there and come back. They constantly, every time the Oilers score a goal, the LA Kings seem to get one right back within 10, 15 seconds, which is why that coach's challenge was even stranger, in my opinion. But that doesn't matter. In today's pregame report, we're going to go over the projected lineups. We're going to discuss whether it should be Calvin Pickard or Stuart Skinner in the net. There's only one right answer. Chris Knoblauch better make the right decision. I'm going to talk about the playoff stats so far for both teams, and then I'll discuss the keys to the game, the players to watch, and of course, the score prediction. If you enjoy this pregame report, please smash that like button. It goes a long way in supporting the channel. And with that out of the way, let's just jump right into it, folks. Now, the projected lineups, these were what the lineups were in Game 3. I can't imagine Chris Knoblauch changing anything crazy from this lineup. Now, there's a couple things that could happen, but I will talk about it once we discuss the lines here. So the top line, Nugent-Hopkins with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman. That line was basically Edmonton's top line for 75% of the regular season. That was their top line last year. And Chris Knoblauch, after going away from it for a while, has decided to go back to it, and it paid dividends immediately in Game 3. Nugent-Hopkins had a goal in that game in the first period, and they looked good. They looked like they had familiarity with each other, and that's a real good sign. When you can have three players that haven't been put together in a while, when they can be put together and have an immediate impact, that is massive. And Zach Hyman, he was actually looking really good too in Game 3. They need him to probably score a few more goals than what he has so far, but I like the look of that line. If Nugent-Hopkins is starting to get his game going on offense, that's a good sign here. On the second line, you have Vasily Podkolzin with Leon Draisaitl and Victor Arvidsson. Now, this line isn't producing much offense at 5-on-5, but I do find they are a very effective forechecking line. Arvidsson, he only falls down 614 times per game, which is great because in the regular season, he was falling down 918 times per game. But he's doing okay here. I don't think he looks completely out of it. He's not really out of position too much. He had that one bad giveaway in Game 2, but overall, I think Arvidsson's game has been fine. Yes, I'd like to see some offense from him, Draisaitl, and Podkolzin, but they are a good forechecking line. They get in on the attack. They put pressure on the defense. Podkolzin hits everything that moves, and they are a wear and tear line. And of course, with Leon Draisaitl, he shoots from a lot of different areas. He can create something out of nothing, and that's a good line in my opinion. Now, I think the most underrated line from Game 3, and a line that I didn't really talk about too much, either in the post-game fan reaction or in the day after discussion yesterday, was the Kane-Henrique Brown line. This line had an impact, and they were real solid. They scored a goal at 5-on-5. You had Connor Brown. He tipped one home off of a nice play in front. And Evander Kane, he eventually scored the tying goal, which eventually allowed the Oilers to come back and win that game after being down in the third period. Evander Kane, if his game is starting to really turn here, and he's having an impact on offense, he just has to stay out of the penalty box. If Evander Kane can just take those dumb penalties out of his gameplay, that's a good line. I don't mind the line at all. I think Adam Henrique has looked solid. Not great, but he has looked solid. He had a little bit more jump in his step the other night, in my opinion, and I think the home crowd really feeds this lineup. I think everyone, honestly, had extra jump in their step, which was great to see. That third line for Edmonton could continue to be kind of an X-factor, difference-making line. Kane can score. Brown has flourishes of offense, and Adam Henrique, he's a responsible player. He knows when he's allowed to pinch or when he has to get back. He knows what his skill set is at this stage of his career, and that's a good thing for Edmonton. Now, the fourth line is where things get a little bit interesting and a little bit more dicey and where you might see a change. And the number one change that I would make if I was Chris Knoblauch is Trent Frederic. He just doesn't look like he has that step right now. That ankle is clearly still bothering him. He can barely pivot. He can't really get back into the play when he's on offense, and when the Oilers are transitioning up the ice, he's the last guy up. He's too slow right now. The ankle's bothering him. If I'm Knobloch, I take Frederic out of this lineup. Now, whether you replace him with Jeff Skinner or not, that's a different question, because Troy Stecher sounds like he has been cleared. He is ready to play. So, Oilers fans, do you go 11-7? Do you just take Frederic out of the lineup, play Stecher, and go 11-7? Or do you pull Frederic, put Jeff Skinner in the lineup, and then play Stecher over Ty Emberson so that you have 60 instead of 7? Chris Knobloch is not usually a coach that goes 11-7. It would be very interesting to see if he does go that route. I think Troy Stecher being added to the defensive group is a real solid, what would I call that? A real solid thing that is going to happen. And Stecher, he's very good on the penalty kill as well. This is a player that should be out on the penalty kill, because the Oilers right now, they are bleeding goals against when it comes to their penalty kill. Stecher can go in. He can be an effective killer for them. He's good at getting in lanes, and he's quick. He can cut off lanes. He puts pressure along the boards. I like Troy Stecher a lot. Let's see what happens with this lineup. But when it comes to the rest of the defensive group, you have Nurse with Bouchard, who looked much better in Game 3. I think having the home ice matchups, being able to get that last change, being able to get the matchup that you want, Nurse and Bouchard were utilized perfectly. Evan Bouchard, of course, had a great game. First Oiler in history to score multiple power play goals in a game, first defenseman in Oilers history to score 2 power play goals in a game. Of course, he eventually had the game winner, made it 5-4, which was just a beautiful play by him and Draisaitl. On the second pair, you have Wallman with Klingberg. And I'm going to be honest here, folks. I think John Klingberg has looked pretty darn good. He has not looked out of it at all. Earlier in the regular season when Klingberg was playing, he looked awkward. He didn't look like he knew what he was doing. He looked like he could barely skate. But whatever was going on from the time that he was taken out of the lineup with about 3 weeks left in the season to now being able to jump into the playoffs, John Klingberg has looked solid. He's able to move that puck. His skating hasn't been terrible. He's been able to get back into the play. And he's got good size, good reach. He makes plays at the blue line. He keeps pucks alive. And the Oilers, when, they get in on the cycle, they need defensemen who can keep that puck alive at the blue line. Klingberg's been doing that. He's been doing a real solid job. I'm very happy with his play so far. Jake Wallman is a player where his game looked like it was starting to get better in Game 3, but we do need more from him. We need him to really ramp up his game. Let's see what he has now. It's Game 4 of a series. You should be more than settled. No more jitters. Just get out there, play your game. We know how good Jake Wallman can be. He just has to show it in this series. And the biggest question mark for the Oilers lineup is, do you start Calvin Pickard or do you go back to Stuart Skinner? And I said at the start of this video, there's only one right answer, and the only correct answer is starting Calvin Pickard. You absolutely cannot go back to Stuart Skinner for a couple of reasons. Number one, Pickard, it doesn't matter that he gave up 4 goals in Game 3. It does not matter to me how many he gave up. The Oilers got the win, and they looked more comfortable in front of Calvin Pickard. Number two, speaking of being more comfortable in front of Calvin Pickard, they like playing for Calvin Pickard. Every single player on this team loves that guy. Everyone in the post-game interviews always talks about Calvin Pickard when he's the starter. For Stuart Skinner, I just think whether it's just his personality, the way he conducts himself on the ice, I don't know what it is. I don't think the team enjoys playing in front of him as much as they do Calvin Pickard. Whether their stats are similar or not, even if Pickard is giving up 4 or 5 goals a game like Stu is, I think you have to go with Pickard just for the mental aspect for the team. If they go with Stuart Skinner, if I go to this game tonight and I see Stuart Skinner as the starter, you know what? It hasn't happened yet. So I'm not even actually going to be worried about it. But Calvin Pickard is the guy, right? Please go with Calvin Pickard. He got the win in Game 3. It was a little sketchy. Couple goals you want back, but he locked things down in the third period. Just like Grant Fuhr would do. He gives up 4, but he's not giving up that 5th one. And for Calvin Pickard, that's what the team needs because the offense has shown up. They just need their goalie. Play average hockey, 900 save percentage. Is that too much to ask for in this series from the Edmonton Oilers goaltending? Apparently it is, but let's see if they respond well and can come out tonight with some fire under their butts. Now, when it comes to the playoff stats for both teams, the LA Kings, they have a power play percentage of 58.3%, which obviously ranks first in the NHL right now in the postseason. That is outrageous. The Oilers' penalty kill is abysmal. I've never seen it this bad before. Now, the penalty kill, I had a lot of comments on my day after discussion yesterday telling me that the kill did look better in game 3. Couple unlucky breaks, and then, of course, goals at the end of the kills, which I do agree with. You had a Connor Brown breakaway shorthanded that if he had been able to convert on, we're probably not even talking about this penalty kill as negatively as I am today. But for the Oilers, that penalty kill, just find a way. Just find a way. I don't care how you do it. Even if it's the ugliest penalty kill in the world and you can't get out of your zone for 2 minutes, get in the shooting lanes, block some shots, and don't put your stick in the shooting lane. It's a lot different when you're getting your body in front of the puck, but the stick in the lanes is causing havoc for their goaltenders. The pucks are deflecting off of sticks, going over goaltenders' shoulders. Get the stick out of the lane. The goalie has to see the release from the shooter. If you're not going to get in the shooting lane, let the goalie see the puck and let him make the save. Maybe. It's Edmonton's goaltending. They might not make the save anyways. But in any case, give them the best chance to make the save. Goals per game, 5.33, which ranks first. Goals against per game ranks 15th because the LA Kings, they are also bleeding goals against as well. Darcy Kemper does not look comfortable in his crease at all. He looks just as uncomfortable as the Oilers goaltending right now. Expected goals at 5-on-5. The LA Kings rank 11th, 46.55%. So the Oilers have actually had the edge in this series when it comes to the 5-on-5 metrics. It's pretty much everything else that they don't have the edge in. So if Edmonton can find a way to produce 5-on-5 and find a way to get a kill or two on special teams, they have a terrific chance of winning this game and potentially getting ahead and winning in this series. Shooting percentage for the Kings ranks first at a whopping 17.98%. Goodness gracious, that is outrageous. Most teams average about 10% shooting percentage. This is obviously unsustainable, but so is the team's save percentage, sitting at 83.91%, which is better than the Oilers' save percentage at 82.02%. Neither goalies can make saves. This is the most high-octane, high-scoring series in the entire NHL. Both teams have decided we're going to score more goals collectively than every other series combined because this is fun. And it's hilarious to me because both teams were pretty good defensively in the regular season. In fact, the LA Kings were the best defensive team in the entire regular season. And the Oilers, they played low-event hockey when it came to their defensive structure. Yeah, sometimes the games would be high-scoring, but for the most part, the Oilers did a good job at limiting how many goals they were giving up per game because of their defensive style. We have not seen that yet in the postseason. It has been back and forth, way too much action going on, I think, for both coaches' likings. Let's see if they clamp down tonight. For the Oilers, they're 8th on the power play. They finally converted on 2 the other night against the Kings. They do need that power play to step up if they get any more opportunities. Goals per game ranks 6th. Goals against per game ranks 16th. Obviously, goals per game is 4.67. Goals against is 5.33. That, for some reason, is not updated on my little map here, my little graphic. Expected goals ranks 6th in the NHL. Shooting percentage is 3rd at 16%. And team save percentage, 82.02%. My God, it can't get any worse or lower from here, right? Knock on wood, right? We'll just knock on the wood there. Anyways, let's get to the keys to the game for the Edmonton Oilers. They have to score early, just like they did in Game 3. But they have to also keep their foot on the gas. The LA Kings, when they got down 2-0, you could feel the shift in the game. They took it over. Their forecheck, their offensive pressure, their cycle game, their attacks off the rush, they took over that first period, and eventually that carried over into the second. They got that lead, and then it took until the third period for them to find a way to come back. The Oilers, they have to score early. They have to keep their foot on the gas. You cannot let up against this Kings team. They are far too good. They are far too aggressive on the forecheck when they get down in a game. You absolutely cannot take your foot off the gas. Hold them to the outside as best as you can, and if they do get to the inside lanes, either block the shot or hope your goalie can make a save. And, of course, number 3, kill a penalty. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if it's only one penalty that you kill tonight. Find a way. Just find a way. I don't care how ugly it looks. Find a way to kill a penalty. The numbers, the analytics say that at some point, they will kill a penalty. Because right now, for both teams, it's unsustainable what's going on with special teams. Find a way. Don't care how you do it. For the LA Kings, number 1, do not play passive. The LA Kings, when they were up 4-3 in the third period in Game 3, They did not really push the issue in that third period. They were happy to sit on that lead, and that's something that we're not used to seeing, at least in this series and this team this season. The LA Kings generally are still pushing the play, at least under Jim Hiller they are. But even in game one, when the Kings had the 4-0 and 5-2 leads in that third period, they sat back, and it allowed the Oilers to push and find a way to eventually tie it. Of course, the Kings got the game winner 10 seconds later, but when the LA Kings have a lead, they cannot play passive. They cannot sit back. They cannot allow the Edmonton Oilers to get zone entries and work the cycle. The Oilers have too much talent on this team to go down without a fight. If the LA Kings have a lead, they cannot play passive in this game. Number two, the transition attack. They have to clog the middle of the ice more, and they have to attack the Oilers off the rush. The Kings are not getting a ton of rush chances, but they don't need them right now. But the Oilers' biggest weakness in the regular season was the rush chances against that they're giving up. Of course, the LA Kings, they do get a few odd man breaks here and there. I do find the Oilers, their defense when it comes to rush chances against hasn't been awful this series, but the Kings have to really push the pace. They have to push the issue, force turnovers in the neutral zone, and attack on transition. And of course, number three, it plays into the transition attack, clog the middle of the ice. The Oilers, I think, had too much time and space through the middle, entering the Kings zone in game three, and they're probably going to try and clamp down on that because the Oilers, once they get into the offensive zone, whether it's Draisaitl with the puck or McDavid or Bouchard or whoever, these guys know how to make plays. They know how to slow the game down. They know how to speed the game up if they have to. The LA Kings have to find a way to clog the middle, prevent the easy zone entries, and if Edmonton's going to get into the zone, they have to be punished by the Kings defense. Now, my players to watch for your Edmonton Oilers, I'm going with Evander Kane. He was instrumental in that comeback in Game 3. If his game is starting to turn around here, if he can find a little bit more offense, that is a great, great sign for Edmonton. That just bolsters the amount of depth that he adds to this lineup. And, of course, for the LA Kings, I'm going to go with Warren Foegele. He has yet to score in this series. Former Edmonton Oiler, he's probably due. He has been very fast. He's been all over the ice. He's been very noticeable the whole series. It's only a matter of time before he puts the puck in the net. Now, my score prediction. What the heck are we going with? Am I predicting a huge, massive, crazy offensive explosion? Or do we finally see a defensively structured, hard-fought, one-goal game where both teams, they put their bodies on the line and it ends up a 2-1 or 3-2 score? Well, you know what? I actually do think it's going to be a more defensively minded battle. I think both goaltenders find a way to make more saves than they have been. I am going with the numbers starting to turn around here. Regression back to the mean. I'm going to say 3-2 Oilers in regulation. I am at this game tonight, so there will not be a live stream tonight, unfortunately, on the YouTube channel. However, I will still have a post-game fan reaction after the game from my hotel room, which you can all look forward to probably at around 11:30 p.m. local or midnight in Alberta. I am excited to go to my first ever playoff game. It should be loud. I may be deaf. I may not be able to even hear myself think during the post-game fan reaction, and hopefully we get to see this team tie the series up and go back to LA all tied up. Chance to take the series lead and find a way. It has not been a pretty series by any means for either team, and if either team wants to go far in the playoffs, no matter who takes the series, they have to start playing better defense, and they need saves from their goaltenders. So that is it for today's pregame report. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you really liked it and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. The growth that we have seen lately is unbelievable. It's unprecedented. Hundreds of subscribers over the past few days. So thank you all so much for your support. It means the world. If you're at the game tonight, I hope to see you there. It's going to be loud. It is going to be insane. I cannot wait. Oil Country, I love you all. Tell someone that you love them before the game tonight. And as always, fight like a kid. Fight like Ben. Let's go Oilers. We'll see you later, Oil Country. And hopefully the series is tied. Let's go.